Hey everybody, this is Felicia with The Book is Done. I am coming on before I go to bed. It's been a long day, long painful day, but um, I am really and truly turning into a Richard Paul Evans fan. I am on his third book in like a week. About to go into a fourth and a fifth. But the book that I finished today is called The Mistletoe Promise. Y'all, listen, it's not that much. It's only like maybe a little over 220 pages, 230 pages. Ah, it's just something about, it's not just a quick read, but it is just something that just, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like if you ever need a book that just kind of gets you back grounded, just get you, reel you back, or maybe you just had a book that was too much, or you just want something to kind of bring you from the rafters down. Um, it's definitely a feel good book. So, this book is talking about how these two people, Elise and Nicholas, they meet in a food court in a mall. And I want to say it's a mall, maybe like a little building or something, but it's a food court, nevertheless, excuse me. And she is, not to say like a travel agent, but she's like a coordinator for high school students that goes on different tours and things of that nature, like to different cities like New York and international stuff, but it's all educational. He is a lawyer. He's like a partner at a I was going to say a lawyership, y'all. He's at a he's at a firm, a firm. And so it is one day, like Elise is just, she's pretty, but like she's been through so much, so she's just kind of like, nobody wants me. She had a divorce from her ex, or her ex Dan divorced her, even though he cheated on her with her best friend. Foolishness. And then with Dan was single, and so he walks up to her table and was like, "Hi," and she was just like, "Hi." In her mind, she's like, "He's gorgeous." And so he is a handsome looking thing in the book. So she was just like, "Hi, how can I help you?" And he was like, "How's your day going?" And she's just like, "Okay." Like, she's very short. She's kind of like, "What do you want?" And he was like, this is like around during like the fall season, so it's like 2 months before Christmas. Again, Richard Paul Evans books are like somewhat around the holiday time, Christmas time. And so he was like, I proposed a contract. And she was like, "What are you talking about?" He was like, "Are you lonely?" And she was just like, "Where is this coming from?" Now, mind you, she's divorced. It's just so much that had just been going on in her life where she just doesn't want to be bothered. And so he was like, "How about we come up with an agreement? We come up with an agreement where we are kind of platonic, like we're platonic. It's nothing physical or anything like that, but we put on this facade that we are going out, that we're boyfriend girlfriend. No physical stuff, no personal questions, and it has to end the day before Christmas." And like within it, like he comes up with this whole contract, like straight lawyer, and he was just like, in the contract, I buy you gifts and you have to accept them. It wasn't anything forceful or anything like that. It almost seemed like it was too good to be true. And so pretty much he was just like, "Let me do for you and don't complain about it." And she was just like, "This is so much, like, you don't know me." Woo, woo, woo. He was like, "But I want to. Will you think about it?" And she was just like, "Okay, I'll think about it." Because it's like within this agreement, they like she goes to his Christmas parties, he goes to her Christmas parties. They meet for lunch every day. Like they technically have eaten lunch in the same like food court every day, and he's just noticed her sitting there, and she's noticed him, but she was just like, "That man is too gorgeous. I will not." And so she was like, "Okay, let me think on it." She goes back to this office, and this girl named Zoe, she's kind of like like Khalees, like her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. So she has like a different, if you don't know who Khalees is, I'm sorry. Basically Zoe is like, you know how it's like men are like ladies men. So she's like a man's lady. I don't know, but she dates like all of these random guys like all the time. She's the gorgeous one. She gets hit on all the time. She's living her best life dating wise. And so no one expects for Elise to just have to talk to anybody, much less a gorgeous man. Hello. And so they go back to the office, and Kathy is somebody else that Elise works with, and they're just like, who's that gorgeous man you were talking to? And she was like, I don't know. He wants to, I don't know. It's just weird. Um, and she didn't really tell him much, but I forgot who she was talking to, and she was like, girl, you better do it. Like, what's wrong with you? Why not do it? So she goes back, they do this contract, and he, like, the first day, this man, oh my gosh, he's so sweet. He sends her like a bouquet of roses, and she's just like, okay. And it's delivered to the office, and they're just like, okay, Zoe, who is it this time? And she was like, it's not for me. Like, baby was upset about it. So they were like, it's for Zoe. And they were like, Zoe, what's wrong with you? Who's sending you flowers, girl? What? Mm-mm. And so she was kind of embarrassed, but she was just like, oh my gosh, these are for me. And so he literally sends her gifts every single day, and it's so thoughtful, like the gifts that he sends. And they go to all of these different restaurants, and he was like, within the contract, it was just like, if we decide to go on a trip, it's all expenses paid. Like, he really took care of her. And so basically he was like, in the beginning, he was like, this is just so that neither one of us will be lonely, because I'll admit it, I'm lonely. And she was like, okay, I'll go for it, I'm lonely too. And he was like, well, with this contract, we could just keep each other company. Again, nothing sexual, nothing like that. We're just enjoying each other's company. So throughout the book, like, they're going to different Christmas parties, and he's going to her Christmas parties, and they eat lunch every day. And then, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to give the whole book away, but he asked her in the beginning, like, they looked at each other's calendars and things of that nature, and she saw that he was going to New York. And he was like, maybe you want to go with me, who knows. She was like, to New York with you? I don't know, that's kind of far-fetched. So the time comes when he wants to go to New York, and he was like, have you ever been in New York during Christmas time? For me, sidebar, I've never been. I've always wanted to go to New York during Christmas time. Home Alone is like my favorite movie ever of all time. Okay? Home Alone. Home Alone 2, equally the same. Like, I could watch it every day, all year. It's just perfect. So, he was like, have you ever been to New York at Christmas time? And she was like, no. And he was like, you want to? And she was like, I don't know. How long is it for? He was like, a week. She was like, I don't know. So she gets back to the office, and they were like, girl, you better go. And so she, like, 10 minutes later was like, okay, I'll go. So all throughout this time, like, slowly but surely, like, it tells the backstory of Elise, of why her ex left her. And then this, I almost said a bad word, this little boo-boo man comes back to her and was like, oh, it didn't work out because she cheated on me. And she was like, okay, it takes one to know one. Like, why are you coming to me? Oh, but we always worked. We always meshed. Bro, this man literally told her that she was the reason why he divorced her, but he cheated on her. And then he's coming to her door talking about, let's get back together. I'm sorry? What? I, no, 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 no. So she was like, if you don't get up out my face. And so she had, not to say she had a secret, but it was something that happened where she was extremely sad, and she just felt like she had this weight on her. Needless to say, Nicholas had a, not to say a secret, but it was just something in his past that was harboring over him too. And so it just, how it all came together at the end, oh my gosh, makes me want to move to Utah. I feel like all good men are in Utah or something. I don't know. I've never been. The most west coast the most west that I've been is Vegas, and I'm in Georgia. So like 3 hour flight. That's the furthest west I've ever been. But man, please, if I can get one, just one of these little Utah men, listen, I would be smooth sailing, smooth sailing. This is the third book. I want to say, yeah, this is the third book that I've read of Richard Paul Evans, and they all end up in Utah. And he lives, like the author himself, lives in Utah. So I can see that. That's just like Jennifer Hillier. She writes her books based like around the Seattle, Washington area, either that or Canada. And come to find out, I want to say she lives in Canada, but at one point, for like maybe 10 years, she lived in Seattle, Washington. So like that's where a good bit of her books are based at, is in or around Washington, Seattle, Washington. So I get it with Richard Paul Evans and being around the Utah area. But my goodness, this book was so stinking sweet. Oh my gosh, it does my heart so good. And I mean, it's good. You know it's good when you take your book everywhere with you, whether you can or cannot read. I'll be in a car sitting in the front seat with me. You understand? And it's just me in the car. I took it to work today. It stayed in my book bag. Even though I didn't touch it, it gave me comfort in knowing that the book was in my book bag just in case I wanted to read. But I have so many books to catch up with him. But he is just such a feel good author. Oh my God. It's not super romantic. It's not like that lovey dovey. It's just like it's like a nice warm hug, like Olaf says. It's just a nice warm hug. And so, The Mistletoe Promise is what I read. The next book that I am getting ready to jump into, and it's not long either. This is his first book that he came out with, The Christmas Box. From my understanding, that book came out in like 1993. It was based on the story of two of his girls. Well, at the time, he only had two daughters. Now he has like 5 children. Excuse me. Excuse me. And 2 grandchildren. So, obviously his family grew. But I am going to read the book that kind of started it all. And then I have one more book of his called The Noel Diary. I'm trying to pace myself. And not getting any more of his books at the moment. There is this big library sale that's coming up. It's a county over within the Atlanta, Georgia area. Is like 5 really big counties that kind of surrounds it. And one of the counties is one of the biggest in the state. They have like this is their second book sale for the year. They have 2. They have one normally like in March, April, and then the second one is like the 1st of October. And these books, I lie to you not, like paperbacks are like 50 cents. And when I tell you it's like legit thousands of books, I'll see if I have an old video from when I was there earlier this year. But it's literally 2 floors worth of books everywhere, and it's of all genres. So paperbacks are like 50 cents. Hardcover books are like $1.50. It goes from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Sunday, you can take like a box, fill it up, and pay $20 for the box. Y'all, listen. Every time I go, I normally leave with about 20 to 30 books, and I've only paid about $22 for it. $22, $23. And some of these books are like brand new. So it's not only just like library books, but donations in which people have dropped off. So I'm pacing myself for that sale to happen. It's on October 5th. It starts at 9 o'clock. Normally I'm there an hour early because I'm like the second or third at the door when it opens, because I'm going straight to that section. So I plan on getting a lot of his books there. Super excited about it. And so yeah, The Mistletoe Promise, that's what this was on. Let me know what you're reading. Holler back at me, comment. This is Felicia with The Book Is Done, and I'm out. Good night, y'all.